What's up? It's Guru Jojo, and in this particular video, I'm going to be talking about the Mercury, Venus, and your Mars sign. So, in the very first video I think I did on the astrology fundamentals, I spoke about the sun sign, I spoke about the moon sign, as well as the rising sign. In this particular video, I'm going to be speaking about the personal planets. These are actually directly connected to your ascendant, your sun, and your moon sign. All right, so we're going to start with Mercury. Mercury has to do with the way that you think, the way that you process information, as well as the way that you learn too, like your learning preferences, especially in early childhood learning. So it's not okay, I don't want to say preferences, but it's the way that you process information and the way that you process your emotions too. So that's what makes it connected to the moon, right? The moon has more so to do with your preference of being nurtured, the way that you tend to feel, the kind of like the temperament of your emotional nature, and how you feel at home, where the Mercury sign is kind of like now how you processing everything, like how do you process your emotions and feelings into a more rational way, so how it gets processed and everything like that too. I'm going to be going over it in the elements. So let's start with fire. If you have Mercury in Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius, or the first house, the fifth house, or the ninth house, then the way that you think is more so demonstrative. So you have a demonstrative thought processing, and you tend to learn better when there's demonstrative energies being expressed. So for example, I just moved my hands. I have Mercury in Aries, so I demonstrate my communication. Mercury and the fire signs tend to be like that. They tend to be quite demonstrative in the way that they express themselves. They can come off a bit flamboyant. By that I just mean like they could be kind of extra in the terms of what does flamboyant even mean? I don't even know why I use that term. I randomly will say words and I swear to you, I don't even know flamboyant. But in general, the fire signs, they're very expressive and lively. They're very bright people, okay? Flamboyant. Okay, so tending to attract attention because of their exuberance, confidence, and stylishness. So okay, thank you, Google. So basically, a lot of times the Mercury and the fire signs as well, they can be quite flashy. That's what I kind of got from this. So they may wear a lot of jewelry or a lot of flashy like accessories in some way, or clothes, because this is conveying a message out to others as well. So something's going to be quite bright about the way that they're expressing themselves. Even if they're being quiet, they could be sitting in a corner and they could be wearing a flipping glittery ass shirt that you're seeing sparkling on the corner of your eye that makes you turn your head, and you realize it's that Mercury in a fire sign individual. All right, so they could even have like a bright smile or something. Not saying that because I smiled, but let me stop. No, I'm just playing. But no, for real, like something about the person and the way that they communicate is going to be bright in some way. So they can have good performance art skills. I imagine these people, they would be very good in a performance art school or something like that. Childlike natures could be connected to them. They could communicate quite passionately and freely. All right. And they're going to prefer to see things. So when a teacher's teaching something, they prefer for that teacher to be lively. Now, these people also too would make great teachers because of that. In addition to that, these are the people who wanted stuff up on the they want stuff up on a chalkboard, the dry erase board, or the the overhead. That's throwback. The flipping, what's the thing they got now? The damn projector. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna be their preference for learning. They're gonna like to watch movies as an example for the unit and things like that. Let's dive into something else. What else about this sign? They remember landmarks better than street names. They remember where that location is because they remember the way that it looks, and they know that this is next to that and next to that. So that means they're at the proper location, type of thing. Good photographic memory. Mercury in the earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, also within the houses of the second house, the sixth house, or the 10th house. These people, they think on a logical and practical level. It has to make sense. They like to structure things. They like to keep doing things that have already worked. I kind of think of it as like these people, they think like, okay, I know this plus this plus this divided by this equals this, you know? And as soon as you come to them with some other type of equation and you kind of don't know what it equals yet, or you haven't proved to them that this is something that can be worked on, like that it makes sense and something that's going to be successful in some way. So if you don't come to them with some sort of details or citations, oh, this has worked before on a number of occasions in this year, on this year and that year and that year type of thing, they don't even want to hear it. They think on a very practical level. Things have to make sense on an everyday life type basis. So they probably would want to have a conversation with me, to be honest. They could be intrigued a little bit, but when it comes to actually having a conversation, they'd be uncomfortable because these people, they think on a very practical level. Very good for work, everyday type work, business, budgeting, I imagine. Their thoughts are evoked through tangible things. So them just holding something can evoke a thought or a memory. And they like to think about tangible things or things that provide them security, like, you know, a home and the furniture within the home and appliances and stuff like that. And clothes, maybe, perhaps, you know what I'm saying? Anything that's going to provide them a sense of security, food. Yeah. And the thing is, these emotions could be a little bit more heavy. The fire signs, these are about light emotions. So it's the lighter emotions, the more temporary emotional nature. Whereas the earth signs could be more heavy, but not heavy in a way that can be so disruptive. It just calls them to be stubborn. Disruptive is going to be more of the water signs, which we'll speak about last. But for the earth signs, it's like they're going to be more practical. Let's say that they feel unsafe. They feel a sense of insecurity. This is going to be the thought processing of the Mercury and earth signs. I don't feel safe. I need to buy a new home. Okay, then I need to get a job so that I can make money, to save money, so that I can now invest it within a new home, and then I'll contact this person to be a co-signer, and then I'll be able to get a new home, and then I'll feel safe. And they planned that out, and now they're going to manifest it because that's what they're going to work on because they don't feel safe right now. That's an earth sign. So the heavier emotions become manifested into security for them, is what I'm trying to say. So a lot of times these people could do quite well, I feel like, in life. It's just that they could be very stubborn is really what it is, and they kind of just stick to what they know. All right, so Mercury in the air signs. This is going to be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, the 3rd house, the 7th house, or the 11th house. So basically what happens here is the thought processing is logical, but it's not necessarily practical like how the earth signs are. So what I mean by this is that these people, they think on a logical and practical, a logical level, but it's an irrational level possibly, but it's not necessarily being converted towards or I don't want to say converted, it's not necessarily being installed in some sort of security basis or practical basis. A lot of the times it's almost just like for fun or something like that, or just like an interest or a hobby usually. So these people could be interested in something, but they could be quite flaky in their interest. And in addition to that, they like to play games and stuff, and I don't mean just like games in a manipulative way, but just like they may like to download a lot of games on their phone and play on there or something like that. In addition to that, they just, you know what I'm saying, they like to stimulate the mind. But I always think of it as like, these are your people who like to do like calculus and algebra, right? It makes sense, but it's not something that makes sense on a practical level. You're not going to utilize algebra and calculus every day. Like, you're not going to go to ShopRite and use an algebra or calculus equation to understand, you know, how much your bill is going to cost. You know, you use basic math to kind of like estimate how much your did I say your meal? I meant to say your flipping groceries is going to cost. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, you would be like, okay, 3 plus 4 plus 5 plus 6. Okay, boom, 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 boom. So my bill is going to cost about $68 and some change. They're not going to use algebra for that. So that's where it differentiates from the earth signs. The earth signs, they focus on the equations that make sense. They're probably not going to waste their time on no goddamn algebra or calculus, because they're focused upon what makes sense on an everyday basis level. The air signs are able to pull away from that stubbornness and start to understand things outside of the practicality of everyday life. So they like to play video games. They may like to even interact with children and interact in various forms of communication as well, including sign language. Now, the fire signs are going to like sign language too because of the demonstrative aspects associated with it. But the air signs just like to learn various ways to communicate and think. Now, your water signs are the heavier emotions, and they're the heavier emotions without security. So I'm going to use the same example as I used with the earth signs. The water signs, first of all, are Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces, the 4th house, the 8th house, or the 12th house. The way that they think is more like, I don't feel safe. I don't trust anybody. I think my friend Pete was trying to steal my phone, and he was trying to sell it for himself so that he can make money. And then I don't trust Katerina. I saw her, how she was eyeing me too. Like, them two are up to something. They plot. I don't feel safe at all. Oh my God, these thoughts are disturbing me. Now you can't sleep at night and shit. You see how like the water signs, it could kind of like disrupt the logical processing. Like, if you don't feel safe, then try to find a way to make yourself feel safe. But instead, it's like the water signs, their energy is so gravitated towards creativity that they can start to make shit up. And sometimes they be right about stuff. Like, a lot of times they're right. Like, he probably was right that, you know, the person I used as an example was probably right that somebody tried to steal something from them. But it's like, okay, so what you gonna do about it? You know, so that's the thing, is they can get kind of stuck there. But in general, these people could be very creative. They could be very good at writing stories. Like, they could be a great author, like a psychological thriller, various types of authors. They could be very good painters, I imagine. Like, they could really paint a picture, a story based upon the thought processing that's evoked from the emotional disturbances that they have. And then they can even be a good musician, definitely a very good musician, because they can be very in tune with the emotions and feelings of others too, and as well as themselves, and be able to create, you know, music from that. These people are also very good at understanding a message without it being said, because their energy is more gravitated towards the right brain processing. And so that's where there's an imbalance. It makes it difficult for the person to process the emotions and feelings for the left brain to pick up and convert it in a rational and logical way. but it's like they can understand what you said without you saying it. So these are the people you could just be like, and they like, yeah, I feel you, and they really do feel you. Like they know what you said, even though you didn't say shit. So it's like those are the benefits, of it. But like I said, it could be very disturbed by their own emotional experiences that they're having. Fire signs are like this too, with the right and left brain processing. Like the right brain is more activated than the left brain. So these are the people, they can understand pictures, but they may not understand how to explain it. And if they do, it just takes a little while to process it. So anyway, that's Mercury. Thank you for watching. Look out for the Venus and Mars. Excuse me. I'll be doing Venus and Mars as well. Look out for it. Blessings, light, and love to you.